What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Chilling here in the tractor. Waiting for my boy Tom here to finish what we call the alligator mouth cut. And he's just taking a big old wedge out of that pine. Pine's a little close to the house. So the homeowner's like, yeah, we're gonna take that pine out. We're gonna take this oak tree out. I like to do the strap situation to the bucket. That's kind of like how it's how I prefer to do it. When we do removals, I don't do ladders anymore, really. I just kind of like put Tom up there in the bucket, put on the strap on the tree, have an alligator cut it out, drop it. It's pretty much what we do at work when we're doing tree removals. And I prefer tree removals over anything else. Here comes the wedge, maybe he's got a wedge cut. Oh, my boy Tom on the wedge cut. Looks nice, Tom. There we go. Look at that. Yep, got my attention. Alright, man. Maybe I'll be able to get this thing. So what I like to do is put a little pressure on it. Not a ton, but a little bit. And just use the weight of the tractor as he goes, just to kind of pull it back. Alright. There we go. Here we go. And down she comes. That's it. Very simple. No big deal. That was the first 600 bucks. We'll do the next one. Got another 600 bucks. Got a bunch of pines out here in this pasture that these guys are doing. I think that's what we're gonna do today's video on. I've been learning a lot about pasture grass. I have to, I'm just really fascinated with pasture grass right now. I know it's kind of weird thing to be into, but like right now I'm just digging pastures. And this homeowner, we're gonna be giving them some tips and tricks on it, but let me talk to my boy Tom here. He's gonna have a question. He always has questions. Like, Tom, you chop the tree up, and then we take the strap off, and then I just take the grapple, and then we move the logs, Tom. It's the same thing we do pretty much every week, Tom. All right, we're gonna talk about pasture grass here in a minute. I'm on the chainsaw here. These are Beatles. I'm gonna explain to you guys in the cab what's going on here, but thank you, Tom. So we'll talk about these Beatles. Basically, they're killing everything. And I know you guys up in Pennsylvania, northern area, Adirondacks, are having similar problems. We have beetles down here as well, and they go after these pine trees. And so I tell all my homeowners and all my buddies, everybody, if you have beetles, you've got to get rid of it. We are going to burn them off today in that burn pit back there. Because you just man, they're just bad. Once you got them, you got them. And the only thing that really, really helps them is like a good cold winter. And we've had colder winters in the last few years, and I expect that to continue over the next decade or so, but not enough to fix this beetle issue. We'll let Tom make his cuts. I see a neighbor's little tractor over there. Looks like a Kubota tractor. I might have to go hit him up and be like, hey man, you want to sell that tractor? Yeah, so you guys, just look at the destruction. All these marked trees here. It's a real shame, and that's what they do. So I have an electric saw that I've been using for the last year, and I really dig it. The problem obviously is the cord, and there's no good battery pack, but I bought a steel electric saw. It came with a 25-inch blade, and I think I added an 18-inch blade to it just for a real nice shorty blade. And that one's a gas one. It's what they basically refer to as a farm boss. It's a good machine. I've had steel chainsaws for a long time now. Ever since I had chainsaws. So the first chainsaw I ever bought actually lasted me 12 years. I just got rid of it. One of my buddies, actually Victor, he just got it. Cut me one more, bro. Yeah. And these things just, I can't say enough good things about them, but the electric is surprisingly impressive. The plug-in electric, surprisingly impressive. So much torque, so much power. Arguably more power than this guy. This has got a 20-inch bar on it. Thank you, Tommy. I appreciate it. Thank you, buddy. This is a grupplet, or at least I'm calling this a grupplet. It's got a bottom bucket to it. It's kind of nice for turning compost, and then it's got a grapple on top. It's kind of like what I was able to find here when I bought this tractor recently. Because my other, I had a 4-in-1 bucket on my previous tractor, and I loved it. It took me about 40 hours to learn how to use that bucket. I looked like a total rookie for a while. But I couldn't 4-in-1s right now for this tractor are tough to find, and I got a quote. It was like $4 or $5 grand. And I bought this one new, but it had been sitting on a guy's lot for a little bit. I just bought this guy for $2,400. So I was like, well, I'll try it out. And so far, I really, really love it. What I loved about the 4-in-1 bucket was the same thing as this, basically, but you've got your grapple portion of it. You've got like a dozer blade. You open it up, you've got a push blade. And then what's really great about it is when you do clean, like we do a lot of removals. Like that's one of our things, right? Like we do tree removals and stump grinding. It kind of go together. I hate having to burn these things with these. I really wish we could use this and like turn this into like 2x4s or something, but I want to get a mobile sawmill. Actually, I need to get my buddy Mackie back on the channel here and talk to him about his sawmill, because he's like, dude, that thing paid itself back in like the first year I had it, and I really need to get one. But anyway, we're gonna drop this guy in the old fire because of the Beatles. Unfortunately, that wouldn't be good wood anyway, because the Beatles have they're basically like termites. And the homeowner here had said, she's like, yeah, my husband and I used to be able to hear the Beatles. Like we'd be out here feeding the horses and stuff, we could hear them. And I was like, yeah, that's when you gotta get rid of your beetles, because this is a beautiful area with like beautiful, beautiful pines. But unfortunately, if you allow just one home for beetles to multiply and you don't chop those things down and burn them off, you will have problems. And unfortunately, like the only thing we can really do is just replant pines and hope for the best. There's no natural predators at this point. There's really no way to treat it. Not that I'm a proponent of like chemically treating these things, but there's just no solutions at the moment, which is super sad, and you know, sure it'll change, but yeah, yep, that'll be good. So Tommy, we gotta do the base cut on that guy. We'll go ahead and move this guy out of his way. I need to get the GoPros back like set up in here, so I can get you guys like good footage. Because if I hook up the GoPro like camera angles and adds a little bit of editing, I would actually need to hire an editor. I need like a little bit of help so I can get more content out to you guys. I toyed around with 2 or 3 videos in a day before, a couple months ago, and I actually really liked it. But it becomes like a full-time gig, and so I need to be able to monetize this channel a little bit more, not like through ads. I mean, there are ads on here. I need to like monetize it a little bit more and then just start hiring around it. But I think GoPros would be cool, and you can get those things going again, so I get you guys better angles than what we got going on here. But yeah, a lot of stumps out in this pasture. We're gonna be rocking. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be blowing mulch, like I told them to get wood chips, and essentially start building up this pasture land. Now the issue is, it's not a lot of land for two. I think she's got 2 horses. It's not a lot of land, and horses are rough on land. And but you can see it's like very sandy. It was obviously very treed, and so the way that I am learning with Joel Salatin and others is, and I'm doing my own food forest, is like 2 feet of mulch chips, and it will break down to 1/4 of that. So if you do 2 feet of mulch chips, you'll probably end up with 4 to 6 inches of topsoil. That creates a new problem because you need to keep the topsoil in place. You can't allow it to be like washed away or like solarized. So meaning like if you don't have any cover crop on there and you've got good topsoil but no cover crop, you can just, the sun will bake that stuff out, turn it basically to dust, and it'll just blow away. Like today's a windy day. And the secondary problem there is like if you have a rainstorm and it washes down, so your grading and stuff has to be correct. But what I'm learning about pasture grass is amazing, because you would think like pasture grass, like one type of grass, you know, some feed for the cattle and stuff or whatever. But what I'm learning is that you need 6 to 8 to 12 different varieties to build good soil depth. I had no idea about this, and apparently the Great Plains like were so rich and lush back in the day because they had just so much biodiversity happening on there. Basically, you're in an environment where the buffalo are grazing it. They've got all sorts of birds, all that type of stuff. I like the grumplet. I'm a fan. And I do like the bottom floor of it as opposed to a regular grapple. Having a bottom floor is nice when you get like sticks and stuff like this that we're about to get into. And it's just real nice. We do this is very simple. Just kind of loop it right through itself. It's like a slip knot. Do the exact same thing on the tree. Use a clasp to attach these guys. I like them red because they're easy to see. Most of the time I paint them if they don't come painted. So I'm not saying this is the ideal way to do this, but this is the way we do it. I've done it with skid steers where we just come up and just pound and push them over. I don't like that because you're too close to the guy. I don't like being close to my ground crew with the machine. Danger of the strap is the strap can break. That's not good. So go overweight on the strap, meaning like a lot more overbuy on the strap. It's a good idea. Don't use chains. Chains snap or come loose. Really bad, dangerous stuff can happen. I'm not putting a lot of tension on it. I'm just putting enough tension to pull after he gets his notch cut out. So he's going for that, what we call the alligator notch. We just take that out and then I'll chop the back of it. Once he starts to do that, I'll lean it over. These are rough because like they're way up there, you got wind. This fence is kind of a risk, but yep. So I'll go ahead and put some pressure on her, and not a ton though. I like to put her like in first or second gear typically. And there we go. And then yep, straight on down. Perfect. Boom. Always measure out your chain best you can, or your rope. Don't use chains. Sorry, don't use chains. But I knew where that thing was going to land. You don't want it to land on the machine, but that is the strap process, and I'm a big fan of the strap process. I just think it's quick, it's easy, it's consistent. You know where things are going to land. And I like the tractor because, well, as opposed to the skid steer fits a little bit better on the trailer, but it tears up a lot of property. Now, like you're doing something huge, skid steer has a lot more lifting power. I won't deny that, but I like being able to rake. I put the rake on the back of this guy, and I can just go around and rake up afterwards, and then the guys can take a pitchfork, toss it in the bucket, put it in the dump truck or wherever it's going, and it's a done deal. So I'm gonna get out there and help Tom work out his next rigging. I think we've got like 6 more of these trees out here in this pasture. Unfortunately, like you can see how they just completely die off. Like that one right there we're zooming in on. It's just like it's all dead, all from those beetles. And honestly, that one's been dead probably for 1.5 years or 2. That's probably why the other ones died too, because when the first 1 or 2 died, they didn't get rid of it immediately. Or if you guys that are curious, I forget exactly how we quoted this, but it's basically like I don't want to touch trees for less than 1,200. So those first 2 were like 12. And I think everything after here is like $200 or something like that, because there's no danger as far as like property damage or anything like that. So I think the entire gig today is like $2.5 grand or something like that. We'll be out of here like. It's like 12:20 right now. We'll be out of here by like 1:30 latest. So not a bad little gig. We got here like 10:30. That's why I kind of prefer tree removals, like in many ways. It's just like quick, it's easy. You have the right gear, you have the right dude. We do this like once or twice a week, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less.